Club Garibaldi offers a full bar, burgers, wings, and more, in addition to lots of live events. More info at clubgaribaldi.com. And Local Live is a production of WMSE Radio, broadcast tonight from Club Garibaldi. Please give another warm welcome to our guest tonight, the Quilz.
repeat. Delete, 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 delete. Delete, 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 delete. Delete, 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 delete. Delete, 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 delete. Every time I see your face, I wish I could erase all time, all space, and stay in your embrace. The words I cannot complete. Delete, 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 delete. Your dreams I cannot complete. Delete, 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 delete. Delete, 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 delete. Delete, 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 delete. Delete, delete. Delete, 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 delete. Delete, 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 delete. Delete, 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 delete.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Quilz. All right, Sage and Becky, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to you.
Can you tell our listeners what we just heard? Was that song called Delete, Delete?
That song is called Delete Delete. It's well, I don't know, spanking new, but it's brand new. Anyway.
Brand new, but not necessarily spanking.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So we want to remind the audience also, we've got some paper and pens here close to the stage. We ran out of note cards today, so don't have our usual note cards, but we encourage you guys to come up if you want to ask questions of the Quilz. There's a good chance we could read them on the air as well, so help yourselves. And we'll start off with a couple of our own here. You two are a couple in real life, according to our research department.
Couple of something.
In real life.
And share a business together, obviously, as well. When did you start doing a musical project together? What was the inspiration behind that?
It's been about 3 years. I think we're right at 3 years old as a band. And inspiration, well, that's hard to say. We've always wanted to do music together, always have wanted to, but, you know, life happens. And
We get a lot of inspiration from the vinyl that we look at Love Unlimited. So, you know, we're always listening to records and.
Yep.
Have you guys been vinyl aficionados your whole lives?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Not on purpose, but yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, with Love Unlimited and everything else, you're both really into vintage and retro stuff, but you also have a really modern edge to your music. You list your influences as, you know, both a mix of modern and some, like, older stuff. What's your all-time favorite cultural era that you think, you know, you could live in forever?
Wow. I think that hasn't happened yet for me. It's getting pretty close right now. I think we're kind of in a golden age of just, you know, everything mixing and matching and people coming up with brand new things that are, you know, that sound retro but totally modern. And
Yeah, we like to be a mix. The delete song is kind of about deleting stuff that you'd write on your cell phone, a message or something to somebody, but you just can't say all the things you type in, so you backtrack and delete some of it. Some of it gets through, some of it doesn't. But I just think one of the important parts of our music is, yeah, kind of working in a modern angle with some of our.
I don't know if we're just not purists about anything. We like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I don't think we're only 50s or we're only 60s. We're only retro 80s. We're a little bit of everything. We have a bunch of covers, and we do everything from Tyrannosaurus Rex, pre-T-Rex, all the way through, I don't know, what's the most modern one? Probably Morphine. That's one of the more modern ones. Anyway, nothing. We're not really stuck in any one thing. Yeah, there's a lot of them. What else you got?
The future is now, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
So, as you guys probably know, we had Exposed Foreheads as our guests.
Who are they?
Are there any fans of Exposed Foreheads?
Exposed
Yes.
foreheads. I know one's in the house right now.
We're all fans of Exposed Foreheads.
So they were our guests in the spring, and shortly after that show was New Wave Fest,
Yes.
which you also participated in. So I was wondering if you have any stories to tell from that festival.
Oh, nothing we can tell over the air, I don't think. There was a lot of strippers going on in there. No, really, I don't. Let's see. We just can't wait for the next one. The next one's happening in April. And
Yeah, we'll be back together again.
we played with
Right.
Exposed Foreheads and Fantastic Plastics from New York. And I don't know. Exposed Foreheads want to come up here and tell everybody about it?
Well, should we do one audience question and then get back into some music? Okay, so audience members, if you want to ask questions, there's paper and a pen up there. Feel free to craft an awesome question for these guys for the next time we break. Someone wants to know, how come David Lynch hasn't picked you up yet?
Well, we're a big fan of Julie Cruz, and
And Lynch. Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, how do you know he hasn't?
To be determined.
Maybe that was the insinuation.
Well, we are big
David,
fans.
call us.
We've been talked about as Lynchian for sure. And I see it. I see how it happens. But I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe he'll make a new movie that we can be a part of. We'll see.
Okay.
What's your favorite David Lynch project?
Lynch project?
Yeah.
Oh God. For me, probably
Twin Peaks.
Probably
was-
just Twin Peaks for me. Really, honestly, if I had to be perfectly honest, probably Twin Peaks.
Just because we're a big fan of Julie Cruz, and our music is throughout the whole thing. And so,
I like a lot of it, really, but if I had to watch something over and over again, probably be Twin Peaks. We did just recently watch Twin Peaks again.
It does lend itself to watching over and over,
Yes, it
doesn't it?
does.
Yeah. All right, so should we have a couple more songs then? I think the audience is probably ready for some music. Let's hear a couple more songs from the Quilz.
It's a pretty new one.
hip hip. Hip hip hooray. You came to save the day. You picked up on my heart. Signal. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Now I can't live without you. Hope you feel the same way. This ship is sailing. Let's make a getaway. Do you feel what I'm saying? Let me whisper in your ear. The only thing I'm gonna say are the words you wanna hear. Hip hip. Hip hip hooray. Hip hip. Hip hip hooray. Hip hip. live without you. Hope you feel the same way. This ship is sailing. Let's make our getaway. Do you feel what I'm saying? Let me whisper in your ear. The only thing I'm gonna say are the words you wanna hear. Hip hip. Hip hip hooray. Hip hip. Hip hip hooray. Hip hip. Hip hip hooray. Well, there's gold in the mountains and the people living in the sea. Oh yeah. Well, there's gold in the mountains and the people living in the sea. Oh yeah. Ha 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 ha. You know that I love you, and don't you know that you love me? Yes, you do. We make feasties of the beasties, but the beasties just live in the wild. Oh yeah. We make feasties of the beasties, but the beasties just live in the wild. Oh yeah. Ha 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 ha. You know that you're slower now.
are tuned into WMSE's Local Live with the Quilz. We've got a live audience at Club Garibaldi. Thanks everyone for tuning in over the radio airwaves.
I think this is our first ever show with the smoke machine.
Yes, I think so too.
So that's a landmark
Yeah,
for us.
it's awesome. Thanks, guys. Cal, you've got a couple audience questions. We should dive into those.
I do indeed. All right, this first one, I think this will clear up a lot of things for our listening audience. Is Quilz spelled with a C or a K?
Oh, Quilz.
I think that question may have been tongue-in-cheek. I'm just guessing, but I don't know where it came from.
Well, thank you for asking.
So that clears that up. If you're Googling Quilz, the Quilz, that's
Extra
that's how
credit if you
spell it.
know. Extra credit if you know how many points that is in Scrabble.
Ooh. Well, doesn't that depend on where it lands?
Depends. Perfect. That's bonus. Yes.
Trick question. Okay. So our next audience question: why a porcupine? Is it Sage's spirit animal?
Well, I think it's kind of. There's a lot of reasons for it, but it's sort of like us. We're cute and cuddly, but very prickly at the same time sometimes. And I don't know. I think
Porcupines have an interesting way of breathing, and they actually get they're kind of the way that they are able to breathe is by eating bark, and so that's how they get their oxygen. So they're interesting, unique animals. They're kind of like prickly, but they're really like soft and gentle too. So it's kind of like a mixture. And
Yeah.
I did not know that about porcupines. The whole bark eating thing. We
yeah,
always
their way
learn
of
new
breathing
things.
is interesting. So
And they're not from Earth. Just also.
That's an interesting theory too. Where are they from?
Oh, maybe I've said too much.
All right, discussion to be continued, obviously. We'll find out more about the elusive porcupine. After the show, you can ask them all the porcupine questions. Someone in the audience wants to know, of course, Sage, you spent some time in Codebreaker, among other things. They want to know, how does Codebreaker influence your sound?
I don't suppose it could probably help but influence our sound. I mean, it's not intentional, that's for sure. But I did all the production for Codebreaker. I did all the production for Sounds of Time as well, and there's a little bit of both in there. I mean,
And Stephen Hawley was a huge inspiration to me because I learned a lot from him watching him,
Becky
on
was
stage.
at every show.
So, props out to Codebreaker for sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. We used to have them at the station quite a bit and miss them, so.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Becky, is this pretty much your first experience writing music and being part of a musical group?
Yes, it is. It's my first time doing music with Sage. He pretty much has been helping me write lyrics, but he does give me a lot of freedom. He usually gives me all the beats, and then I put the lyrics, kind of mix them on top, or sometimes I just make up noises at first, and then I can kind of find the right words. But
Becky jumped right in, both feet forward. She did a really good job.
It's fun being a girl and being able to make lyrics. I think girls, can appreciate, hearing something that they feel too, instead of just the guy's perspective. Not that it's not good, but it's just cool to be a girl and write some lyrics,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So when you do write the vocal melodies, it's mostly you coming up with a melody?
Well, Sage.
Mostly, it's a mixture, but mostly it's her. I mean, there's a couple songs where I just straight up said, here's a melody, write some lyrics to it, but mostly it's just her saying, here's an idea I had, and I'll be like, well, these.
Or here's
these,
a million ideas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. There's these are the good ones, these ones we can lose, and then we just hone it from there. And I know that's one of my strengths, I think. If I had to say I have a strength, it's just kind of editing other people's things, and I'm much better at doing that and hearing hooks in other people's things and being like, well, this is a hook, that's not.
Well, I
that's a hook,
definitely
that's
think
not.
it's a partnership, and we
For sure.
definitely have to agree on
Yeah.
things.
Oh, yeah.
together.
There's lots of things I've been like, Becky, this is the best thing in the world. She's like, nope, not happening, and there's just that's the way it works.
Right,
She's
and
the singer, so she's the one who has to feel it when she's singing it.
And you're usually putting the vocal treatment on some of
Yeah.
the parts too. So
Yeah, there's a little bit of production involved, but I mean, just the way it works.
it's cool.
Now, have you written poetry a lot in the past, or?
Well, I absolutely love Bob Dylan, David Bowie, Aretha Franklin,
Those guys
Otis
are all-
Redding. Those are just a few. Tobin Sprout from Guided by Voices.
Those guys are all
Tom
poets
Petty,
in a way.
Neil Young. I mean, the list goes on and on. I love poetry, and I love to hear a double, triple meaning, or whatever meaning anybody wants to take out of it. I think it, I want to speak to people.
Like this next song is "Hung Up on You," which is a double entendre of like I'm hung up on you and click, hung up on you. So a lot of that kind of stuff in our music and Becky's lyrics and stuff.
Cool.
Okay.
Someone in the audience wanted to know, while we're on the subject do you have any words of wisdom regarding working together or making music together?
Let you feel that.
Well, we learn something new every single show.
For sure. It's just, it's not for the faint of heart, but it's, if you feel it, it's just in you, and there's really not much you can do about it. So you just stick with it, and you stick with it, and you stick with it, and you cry a lot, and you argue a lot.
Sometimes
and
you laugh, sometimes
and
you
laugh
cry.
a lot, and then then you play a show. That's kind of the way it works.
Yeah.
I was kind of wondering, because a lot of your music, kind of the style of it and everything, lends itself to like sci-fi themes. And I guess we talked a little bit about David Lynch. I guess some of his stuff could be considered sci-fi, but are there other like sci-fi influences? Like, are
It's
you
like
guys?
sci-fi.
Yeah, right.
I personally, I guess that's a good point of when I do production, I almost always have a scene in a movie in my head that I'm writing the song for, like the music for.
Okay.
Becky has got her own thing for doing lyrics and stuff too, but when I'm making a song, I'm like, this is the part in a Sofia Coppola movie where they're laying in a field of flowers and there's dust in the air and I'm making that atmosphere. Or this is the part where, it's a Ridley Scott chase scene or whatever, what I mean? Like I always kind of, in the back of my head, I'm filling in that space. And so, I don't know, what was the question? Sci-fi.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a big sci-fi fan myself, so I can't help it. It just fits in there. I can't stop it.
And you do have a song called Robot Love.
There's Robot
That-
Love,
that-
yep.
Do you think robots will someday be capable of love, or are they already?
Well, Robot Love was a little bit about going through the motions and maybe not feeling as much as you could
Right.
feel. And since it's called Robot Love, it's just the kind of making you think about a mixture
Yeah.
of the mechanical and the heart together.
The tagline is going through emotions. And so,
There we go.
ooh, that was Becky's.
Those double entendres again.
Copyright Becky Heck.
Well, should we have a couple more songs?
Yeah, let's do a couple more.
The audience agrees. A couple more songs from the Quilz here on WMSC's Local Live.
The lights. Thank you, guys.
That was the Quilz on WMSE's Local Live, doing their newest single that's available on Bandcamp anyway, I believe. Then that's going to be on the next album, correct?
Yep, it sure is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the Fishing for Ketchup album, it's coming out. What was the inspiration for the title?
This mic.
Well, for one, I love ketchup. I love
good
condiments, and I also think sometimes when you're fishing for something, it's like you're trying to bait somebody, and I guess maybe you'd use ketchup to catch me. I don't know, but fishing for ketchup is actually kind of like I was kind of thinking like fishing for compliments, fishing for something. I don't know, but I just wanted to be kind of like unattainable, or maybe like kind of hard to catch in your hands, like kind of soupy. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not sure.
Right. It's something you can't catch, really. It's like soup. You can't catch it. But it's also just sort of like, you know, you were talking about like David Bowie lyrics and things. It's just got that sort of weird Dadaist abstraction that...
Yeah, we could talk about like it all night, probably, what it really means. I don't know.
I'm
The
thinking about
artwork is done by
surrealism.
local artist Luke Chappelle. We were real big fans of him, and we got him to do the artwork for it. So that's all done, and the record is all but like one song away from being done. And
Yeah, shout out to Luke Chappelle because
Yeah.
he did the artwork.
yeah, hopefully I'd like to say that the record will be done. We have a gig on. I forget what the date is exactly, but it's the weekend of New Year's Eve with the Lovelies at Shank. And yeah, give it up for Lovelies. And I'd like to really think that it's going to be done by that gig, but we'll see. We did just come out with Volume 2 of our CD. We have a Volume 1 and Volume 2, which kind of is a mixture of both our original music and our covers. And the idea behind the record will be a full-length vinyl release of just originals, and then we'd like to do a little touring on that, and then when people are like, what else could they possibly do, we'll hit them with a full-length vinyl of just covers, and then it'd be like 1-2 punch, and then hopefully when that one's done, we'll have enough material for yet another record, and that's the plan.
Very exciting. You guys are known to do a lot of different covers.
Yeah, we do a couple.
Yeah.
That one with the
Blondie,
melodica.
Prince,
Yeah.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah, the melodica one
Devo.
was Tyrannosaurus Rex. Devo and
Material
shout 'em out.
Issue.
New Order, right?
New Order. Yeah.
Right. And there's got to be more of it. I can't think of it right now.
I love that.
Oh, Material Issue.
The
Did you say
audience
that?
is
Oh,
shouting
I learn
out
a lot
bands.
from doing covers. You know, I learn a lot from doing that, and I try to incorporate their brilliant minds into, you know, what we're working on too.
We do a Material Issue cover, and it was really fun. Recently, the guy from Material Issue called Material Reissue, right?
Yep.
He friended us recently. It was awesome. And anyway, good times.
Did he give you any feedback on your?
He
on the
loved
cover?
it. He thought it was great. Yeah.
That's cool. Is that the only person you've covered that you've actually heard of, or I mean, heard from?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Some
So
of them
now-
are. A lot of them are dead.
That's true.
You don't want to hear from
Hopefully, we won't be hearing from too many of them.
Hopefully we won't meet them soon. But
Mark Sandman's not giving you a call. That's
Right.
probably good.
Oh, I met him years ago when my band, well, you might have heard of him, Citizen King, was touring. We did a gig in Madison at the little tiny Roadhouse Club to Wash, I think it was called, and it's no longer there, but it's a teeny little place, and Morphine played there. And it was right when they were just about to hit, and it was just packed. And, you know, it's like the place could hold 100 people, and there was probably 400 people in there. And just the nicest guys, I think, maybe some of the nicest guys I ever met, just as musicians, I mean, just incredible. And just the second I heard him play, I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. Like, that's going to be some stuff.
Yeah.
And then a couple years later, he's gone. Anyway, good times. What else?
I'm also wondering about the new album. Is this just all self-produced? Like, are you two doing everything?
Yeah,
as
it's just
far
us.
as the music goes.
Yep, it's
Well,
just
we
us.
have Jason Simonic.
Simonic does our mastering. We've played with him recently a couple times. You might have heard of Simonic, the band. He was also in Codebreaker years and years ago, and for just a minute. And he lives in New York now. Anyway, he does the mastering. But other than that, all us.
Okay. And as far as this is like the first time we've ever had really like this elaborate of a lighting setup, which is really cool for us on stage and for the audience. A good reason why the radio doesn't quite convey everything at these Garibaldi shows, but I still have to ask about it. Did you know when you started the band that like you really wanted to have this this type of setup?
Sage took me to, what is it, Music Bob's?
Oh yeah, Uncle Bob's.
Uncle Bob's. And he
met
showed
Jeff.
us like the most awesome lights that I've ever seen. And I think he probably was like, and then you guys could go with this. But I saw the main setup and I was like, okay, we'll go with that. And
Well, it's just part of we just really are.
but when we saw it, we had to have it. We were
Yeah.
like, oh yes, this is for us.
Pretty much from day one, we knew we were going to need, if we really want to commit to this, we're going to need, because our aesthetic is just sort of like a Julie Cruz thing, where it's just, or like a Mazzy Star thing, where it's just sort of, more static on stage, and so therefore we need like something else to kind of keep people's interest. So we consider it kind of our third member, the hype man that kind of keeps people interested. But yeah.
That's cool. Do you take any inspiration from shows you've seen in particular?
Oh, I'm sure we probably do, but I mean, and it will scale up. We're going to eventually get into projection and all kinds of stuff, but at the moment, it's each one of these dang lights costs a lot of money. So.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work too.
Yeah,
to
and a lot of work.
music and
I didn't know
lights.
anything about DMX lighting, and I had to teach myself the entire thing, and it was not easy.
No.
That's what happens when you get a girl in the band. If you take her to the music store, she's going to pick something out. This is what I got.
That's shiny.
The Cadillac of lights.
Yeah.
I don't want those cheap ones.
Well, do you two mind playing your final song for us, and then we can loop back one more time with all your info for the audience, but I'd really like to hear one more song. How about you guys?
Yeah.
All right, one more time.
Thanks for
The
coming out,
Quilz.
you guys. Thank you, Local Live, WMSC. Local Live, 91.7. Doesn't pay to play. You know you wanna. Doesn't pay to play. Can't stay away. Thank you so much. We're the Quilz.
CDs, merch, etc., all available.
Ah, good. Good to know. All right, so we've talked a little bit about the new album coming out. Wondering if you guys have any shows coming up that you want to tell people about.
Just the
have
New
a
Wave
bunch-
Fest with exposed foreheads and
The New Year's Eve
Oh, yeah, the
weekend
New
thing
Year's
is for sure.
gig
We have a
with
couple others in
the
the fire, but
Lovelies.
irons in the fire, but nothing's solid yet, so we don't want to really go out about. So anyway, New Year's Eve for sure, Shank Hall. New Year's Eve weekend. I think it's Saturday. I'm pretty sure. We'll have to check your local listings. But
yeah, stay tuned to the radio station to find out more about the Quilz.
yeah.
Always a good advice.
And where can people find your new CD, Volume 2, and where can they look for your LP that's coming out?
Oh yeah, Love Unlimited or contact us online.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love it if we have new fans come to any shows, have fun with us. We're happy that you're here tonight and hope to see you again soon.
And we want to thank WMSE as well. You've been very good to us, and super grateful for it. We have
pleasure.
everything at Love Unlimited. We have everything on Bandcamp, almost everything on Bandcamp, and the usual other things, Spotify, et cetera.
Okay. Excellent.
Awesome. Well, thank you to everyone. Thanks to the audience.
Yeah,
Give
thanks,
yourselves
guys.
another hand.
Thanks,
Thanks for coming
Erin.
out.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks to the Quilz. Look for their music at Love Unlimited and also at Bandcamp.
And that's going to wrap things up pretty much for Local Live tonight. We want to say that Local Live is a production of WMSE Radio, broadcast tonight from Club Garibaldi. Thanks to our live audience for coming on. Thanks for all the questions. Give yourself a hand. Really appreciate it. And Local Live is produced by Erin and myself. Tonight's segment was engineered and broadcast from Club Garibaldi by Ian and Billy Cicerelli. All video by Moleskin Productions. Thanks to the band and the great crowd, everyone at Club Garibaldi. For upcoming guests and archives of past Local Live performances, visit WMSE.org. And tune in again next Tuesday at 6 p.m. for another edition of Local Live, back in the studio with Vince Cortho.
See you guys next week. Thanks for coming out.
Stay tuned for Midnight Radio.